Internet. This is Andrew, better known as Drewicious, attempting to put together a second video. Got actually a lot of questions from the first video, inspiring me to do another one. So today I'm going to cover real quick some questions I got about the levels that I put in the previous video. Previously we went over how I think about those levels, how to take calls, how to take puts. One of the things that I talk about occasionally inside of the Discords is the fact that I don't really trade actively during the day, or at least I shouldn't trade actively during the day because I work, and I think that's probably true of a lot of traders, new and old. Frankly, we're not professional traders, so we need to figure out how to make this work with our day job. The levels are one of the ways that I think about avoiding doing active trading during the day, because the idea there is that I take a look at the tickers ahead of time, try to figure out where I'm interested in that ticker, right, based on the move. And then you can use something called conditional orders to set your orders ahead of time so that you don't actually have to keep an eye on those orders, or at least you don't have to be staring at the screen. Occasionally things are going to go off when you're unable to react to them. So I'm going to cover a little bit about conditional orders and OCO brackets, or one closes the other brackets, that can help traders use those levels to set up trades ahead of time, and then just kind of turn your back and wait to find out whether they happen or not. So I'm going to jump in a little bit. In the background here, ThinkorSwim is my platform of choice. I know that some of the things I talk about here may not be directly applicable to the platform or the broker that you are using. Unfortunately, since there are a lot of platforms, I'm going to attempt to share some concepts here, and then it may be up to you to do a little bit of homework to figure out how that relates to your broker. But I will share what I know, and then hopefully you can find some way to make that useful for yourself if you're not a ThinkorSwim user. But we got here a ticker. I'm just grabbed Rivian for no particular reason other than that was the last ticker I was looking at. So there's nothing special about this. I'm absolutely not offering advice or talking about what trades should be taken with Rivian at all. But we're going to use this as an example. So you can see here we've got a ticker. We're going up here, and let's just say that I am bullish on Rivian and I'm interested in taking calls. Maybe I believe that we can get back up here. So hey, I would be maybe interested in taking 40 calls, but I'm not interested in taking calls, a 40 strike call, unless we get above this level right here. Let's just call that $38, right? We're not quite at $38, right? You can see we're at $37.50. And who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, right? Maybe I wake up in the morning and this thing is tanked. Maybe it's dropped to 32, and I definitely don't want to be in $40 calls if this thing pulls back tomorrow, right? But if it continues up above the high here, right, our high of this candle is 37.88, and I might be interested in taking calls, $40 strike calls, if we break $38, right? That's a little higher than the high of yesterday. And that to me might signal that there's going to be some bullish continuation. So what we're going to do in ThinkorSwim, we're going to go over to the trade tab. And here we got our options chain. And you can see all the different strikes here, right, on the different dates. And let's just say, I don't know if it's going to happen this week. Maybe I think it's going to happen next week. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to find 40 is the strike that we had talked about. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to right click, and I have the option. So we're going to go through a couple different things. One, just setting the conditional order. Then we're going to come back and then we're going to set an OCO conditional order. But we're just going to start here with the basic, right? So if I just want to buy a single contract in ThinkorSwim, that brings up this interface here, right? The order entry tools. And way over here on the side, there's this little gear. And if we click on that gear, it brings up this order rules where you can ask TOS to do all sorts of different stuff, right? You can say, hey, I only want to take this if it happens after a certain time. I only want to take it if SPY is above its current level, right? You can make up all sorts of stuff. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, I want to buy. I'm going to accept a limit here. I'm going to actually change this over to market. So because I don't know what the price is going to be when it gets to 38, right? So Market is kind of the easiest way to make sure that if you are convicted or if you are convinced that your trade is going to work, you know that you want to take those $40 calls. Go ahead and set this to market. And you can say, I'm only going to keep this for today, and the rest of this stuff you really don't need to worry about. But here's kind of where the magic part about the conditional orders comes in. You can say, I want to take Rivian only if Rivian is above, and this is you guys kind of remember your like seventh grade math or third grade math, wherever it is we talk about greater than, less than, right? Um, the arrow always points to the smaller number, right? Or if you remember, the whale eats the larger number, right? So this is less than or greater than. So in this case, I'm going to select greater than. So I want to take this trade if Rivian is price is higher than, in this case, we said $38. All right, so what I have just effectively done, well, I haven't done it yet because I haven't clicked it, but you can see down here in the description in ThinkorSwim that it will tell you in plain English what your order is meant to do. So what I've asked it to do is submit the following order to buy one Rivian, 100 Rivian contracts, right, at $40. I want to buy that call at the current market price, and it is going to wait until the following condition is satisfied. I want to see the price go over $38. And so until that price goes over $38, it's just going to sit here in a wait order, right? So if I go ahead and click confirm and send, here's the whole thing summarized for me, right? So, and it's guessing kind of how that could work out. But ultimately, right, it's just kind of reconfirming that I want to buy $40 shares, or I want to buy $40 calls if the price goes over $38. End of story, right? So if I click send here, and I'll click send, market's closed, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to come back over here to monitor, and there's my order sitting in there, and it's in the wait condition because the price has not yet gone over $38. Now, I could shut my lid on my laptop right now and walk away. And tomorrow, if Rivian goes over $38 at any point, ThinkorSwim will put me in for a market order, and then I have $40 calls waiting on my account. Now, that's pretty cool, right? That you can do conditional orders. And again, you'll have to figure out how to, I'm going to clear that out because I don't actually want that trade. So that's how you can put in a conditional order. Now, here's the trick. If you're like me, you get calls or you have meetings or whatever. Now, if that thing goes in force, when I'm in the middle of a meeting and I don't have time to babysit that trade, what could happen, right? Well, market could open. There could be a price surge in the morning, right? The first 15 minutes tends to be pretty volatile. Now, if that happens, right, the price could absolutely go over $38 and then tank relentlessly afterwards, which would be very bad for my call, right? If it drops down to $30, my call is going to be worth next to nothing. So I don't want that. So we can use OCO brackets in order to set stop losses that go in automatically with our trade. So let's go back and run that same trade. And this time we're going to run an OCO brackets. We're going to go back down to our $40 calls. We're going to right click again. And this time we're going to buy custom. And we're going to buy with an OCO bracket. Now, there's some stuff here I'm going to talk about in another video a little bit later. Bacon Bill, another trader in some of the discords I hang out in, he and I have been working on a script here that helps out with some of the stuff and solves some of the problems with the system I'm describing to you guys, but that's not ready yet. And what I'm showing you is what I was doing prior to that script existing. So we're going to go in here and we're going to take a look at the OCO bracket. And we're going to open that up. Now you can see that we now have 3 transactions, right? When we did the last one, there was just a single transaction. And all I was saying is, hey, when we get above when we get above 38, buy me some $40 calls. What this OCO bracket does is it allows me to buy and then set some conditions in which I'd want to sell my contract. Because the truth is, I really would prefer that this contract just handle itself in the background, right? I would like, if it goes above 38, buy me a call. If it goes, let's say 50% up in value, go ahead and sell it. 50% up is pretty good. And if it drops 25% in value, then stop me out of the trade. It was a bad trade and I don't want to keep it. we can use the OCO brackets for that. So we do the same thing in here, right? As we come through, we're going to buy one contract, going to come all the way over here. We're going to set our condition again. So, hey, if Rivian, if the price goes above $38, then I want to take that trade. Now, oops, I think in this case, I also need to tell it that you need to be careful with this thing. If you say limit, what can happen is you'll say, hey, I want to take it at $38, but when the contract or when the price goes up to $38, well, your contract is more expensive. So you're going to be stuck saying, hey, I'm willing to buy it for $1, but the contract might be $1.50. So to fix that, like we said last time, we're going to go ahead and set that to market. That means we will take it at whatever it's worth right now. Right now, this is sort of a dangerous thing because the market, especially when it's volatile, like in the first 15 minutes of open, when the market is volatile, the market price can be elevated, and that can really work against you. I'm going to show you a trick for avoiding that as well. So it takes a little bit extra manual effort, but it can save you a bunch of pain from getting chopped up in the market open. And I'll show you actually how to do that with this order in just a moment. So we're going to go ahead and save, right? We're taking our play here above $38. Save it. All right, so we've now got our conditional order set. Now we have to come down here. We have two legs down here, right? So you'll notice up here, we're on a buy side, and down here we got two sell orders. And it is attempting to do essentially a price target and a stop loss. Now, the way that these work currently is they're currently set for a limit. We're going to set this for a stop, and then we're going to come over here and let's see here. I should have practiced this before I came into the into the call. If we uncouple this, and I believe we have the ability at this point to, if we set to last, then we can change this here. So that, when we change the link to last, we have the ability here to change this little icon right here. And you can see that I'm kind of cycling through it. So this is, I think, pips or points, percentages, and just a hard dollar, right? So if you just say, hey, I want to sell it if I make $10, you can just put in $10 here. In my case, I like to use percentages, and let's just say that we want to sell it for 50%, right? So if my contract gains 50% in value, sell it, right? I will call that a win. I don't care if it goes 500%, 50% is great for me. And that's all we have to do in order to say that I want to sell if I make it to 50%. Now, conversely, on the bottom side here, we want to set a stop loss that does the same thing. Down here, we're going to change it back to percentage, and we're going to say, hey, I also want to sell it if I get a 25% loss, right? That means that I picked a bad level, or the trade wasn't quite ready, and I just want to get my money back and live to trade another day, right? So this looks pretty good, generally speaking. We've got our conditional order to put me into play when it hits 38. I will take a 50% profit if I am fortunate enough to get one, and I will take a 25% loss if I'm not lucky, or if the market decides that that's not what the ticker is going to do, then that is my risk. And in this case, right, that stop loss that's essentially what we are willing to gamble in order to find out if we can make this back. So, and if we put this into play, now here's where I'm going to say, I mentioned earlier, I'm going to show you guys how to do something to help avoid market open chop. Again, this is something that the bacon trap script helps with, and when that script is ready, I will do another video and share that information with you guys. But for today, we have a manual trick I'm going to show you right now. So after I click save, you can see here, if I click send, it's going to put the order in, and then I'm going to go into that wait condition again, because ThinkorSwim is basically just going to wait until the price goes over $38, and then it will put me in. However, if I click save here, it's going to put this down into a saved orders area down here. And it is just going to sit here. Now, what that means is that ThinkorSwim is not going to put me into play at $38 tomorrow morning, right? So market opens, we get a surge, it goes to 38.01. right? Thinkorswim's going to put me into play, right? If that happens in the market open and then it tanks afterwards, like I'm definitely going to hit my stop loss of 25%, which is better than 100%, but I'd rather have that 25% in my pocket. What we can do is we can leave this order in a saved state until, let's say, 30 minutes after open. Then you can simply come in here and put that order in force, right? You can just right click on it and say confirm and send. So, if you get these all ready, let's say the night before or before you go into work, and then 30 minutes after open, sneak away. I'd be lying if I told you I hadn't gone to the bathroom or just like stepped away from a meeting for a minute and just snuck in here and uh, hit confirm and send on some of these trades, right? Put them into force after the volatility market opens over. And then if the trade is still good, then you can get in after the open of the volatility or after the volatility of market open is over, and your trade in your conditional bracket will still be in force. So you can come in, you can quickly confirm and send, right? It's just going to ask you again, hey, you sure you want me to put that thing in? Click send, and that thing goes in. And now we go back to monitor and we can see as soon as my computer reacts, there's my order and it's working, right? It's in wait trigger. It is waiting for Rivian to get back to that 38. And you can see it just changed condition there over to $38. Or I'm sorry, over to, I'm looking around the screen and words are just coming out of my mouth. Sorry. But it went back into that wait condition, right? Essentially, hey, I'm waiting for your ticker to meet all the conditions that you specified in order to put your play in. So that is how I set my traps so that I don't have to watch them during the day. It is extremely nice not to have to wonder whether a trade is going to blow up in my face or to like go get a cup of coffee and come back and something's tanked. You have your stop losses set that will make sure you don't lose all your money. You have your profit target set so that you can make sure that you are going to leave your trade green if it goes the way that you want. And you always have the ability to come in and change those independently, right? Once that trade is in, and let's just say that it goes to 38.25, and maybe I see 10%, and I see that the market's not looking great, and I just want to take my 10% and leave. You can go in and either cancel the order or adjust your stop so that you just take your green, right? Don't wait for it to get to 50%. If you're not feeling good about what's going on in the trade, you don't want to hold on to it. You can still adjust those manually after the fact. But the idea here is that you're building a structure that you can turn your back on, which I would never recommend turning your back on an options trade. If you can't babysit it, then you probably shouldn't take it. There are countless stories in all of the trading discords about people who literally went to get a cup of coffee or had a quick conversation, came back, and they were down 50%. It happens more often than we care to think. But the OCO brackets can help you avoid that and can help you use those levels, get them set, and then walk away and check at the end of the day and see if you made a profit or not. So I hope that is helpful. I know this is a slightly longer video than last time, but there was kind of a fair amount to cover. I hope if you guys have any questions, you can put them in the comments. I will definitely try to keep up with them. If you have other ideas for videos, please submit them or suggest them as well. Otherwise, I hope you guys make a ton of money in the market. Take care, and we'll see you on the next video. Cheers.